Now, the Standing Committee on Health and Ageing will be looking at plain packaging legislation for cigarettes later this morning.
There's concern from the opposition the hearing will have a heavy focus on health-related issues and neglect the concerns of small business and legal representatives. Andrew Southcott is the Shadow Parliamentary Secretary for Primary Healthcare, and he joins us now from the ABC's Adelaide newsroom. Andrew Southcott, good morning. What exactly are your objections to the way this hearing is being run?
Look, my objections were we thought this legislation could be sent to a parliamentary committee to flesh out some of the issues, the legal issues, intellectual property, the impact on small business, and also the issue around counterfeit tobacco. And what we found is they've scheduled 3 hours of hearing today. Half of that time is given to speaking with government agencies, and then they're speaking to a tobacco company and also all of the health groups, the Quit Groups, National Heart Foundation. Now, that's great, but with the intent of the inquiry, and bear in mind the committee has had a 6-week parliamentary break to do this, was actually to flesh out the issues and listen to the concerns of small business and also flesh out the issues relating to counterfeit tobacco as well.
Well, as you say, this is a hearing, a 3-hour hearing that's being held today, but anybody can make a submission to the inquiry. So those concerns of small business and legal representatives can surely be fleshed out in that forum.
Sure. There's been 63 submissions, I understand, made to the committee inquiry. But what this shows, I think, is the proposal for plain packaging has been around for 2 years. And at every point, the government has shown no inclination to engage or listen to small business. And our concern is principally with your small retailers, the news agents, the family-owned supermarkets, convenience stores, independent service stations, those sort of businesses. And we think that they should at least be listened to. And you're right, sure, anyone can make a submission, but by the looks of who the committee are prepared to hear from, it's really disappointing that they're not prepared to listen to small business and they're not prepared to get to the bottom of the counterfeit issue. And the intent of this inquiry, I mean, as it stands, it looks like we will hear from groups. We already know what their position is on plain packaging, and the debate's not really about plain packaging. The opposition have said we won't be opposing the bill, we'll be moving some amendments. But what we want to do is just flesh out the issues around the legal standing of the bill, the intellectual property, the counterfeit issues, but most importantly of all, the impact on small business. And I mean, small business are really struggling at the moment, and we should at least hear if there are any ways we can improve this bill for small business.
Andrew Southcott, as you mentioned, the Coalition is not opposing this legislation, so the debate is more about detail than policy. What exactly will these amendments be to the legislation that the Coalition will be moving?
Look, we haven't foreshadowed our amendments, and we still have to have a discussion within the Shadow Ministry and the party room. But the sort of things that we'll be looking at are the ones that I nominated, the issue around counterfeit tobacco and also the issue for small business. And I believe that there is a way that the public health intent of this bill to reduce smoking rates can be kept, but also a way that we can make it easier for small business. That's the sort of thing that we're interested in. That's why we sent it to a parliamentary inquiry. And as it stands, it looks like the government, it's a government-controlled committee, it looks like they're more intent on a whitewash rather than actually getting to the bottom of, you know, what is a substantial bill and what really should be an inquiry that is going to inform the subsequent parliamentary debate.
Andrew Southcott, you are speaking in very broad terms there, though. I mean, you've made your concerns clear. What can be done to the legislation to make it more palatable to small business and to address this issue of counterfeiting?
Well, we're not foreshadowing our amendments at the moment. There have been a number of claims made about the extent of counterfeit trade in tobacco, and I think the job of the committee really is to get to the bottom of some of these things, and also in the area of small business, just to really get some idea of what the practical issues are. And The problem I've got, I mean, this has been around for 2 years, and the government has shown no interest in listening to small business. They've just shown no interest in engaging with them, who are going to be the ones who will really implement this important policy change.
Just before we let you go, Andrew Southcott, your colleague Malcolm Turnbull gave an address to the National Press Club yesterday, and during the question and answer session he was asked about some prominent Liberal moderates leaving and retiring in the next term, and he made a statement about, he said, and I'll quote, "You don't win elections by persuading your most devoted supporters to cast a vote with you, for you, with even more enthusiasm than they did at the last election," and was talking about winning voters from the other side and holding that middle ground. What's your response to those comments that he made?
Well, look, Malcolm has shown that he's had a strong record of electoral success in his own seat of Wentworth, and I think that the comments that he makes are correct. You know, we do want to see the Liberal Party as a broad church appealing to the greatest number of people that we possibly can. And as I said, Malcolm's got a strong record of electoral appeal, and he's got something to say on this.
So you're not concerned about Conservatives having a dominant hold on the party at the moment?
Look, I think we've got a broad variety of views within the Liberal and National parties, and I think you know, right now we're doing our best to listen to the community and make sure that we do have strong appeal. And as I said, I think Malcolm's got something constructive to say on this, and he's got a track record to back it up of electoral appeal in his seat.
Andrew Southcott, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.